New Standard is here and it is absurdly wild with many mid-range decks running around all over the place, but the deck we're talking about today, this deck goes over the top of all of them in a big way, a ridiculous way in fact, and somehow it's winning all over the place. Hope you enjoy this New Standard deck tech, and if you do, remember to tap the like button under the video. His name is Steven, he's great. This 5-color pile of nonsense starts with a full playset of Atraxa Grand Unifier as the only creature. Yeah, this is a real deck that is winning games in entire tournaments, so hold on to your butts. Atraxa is hardcast in this deck and utilizes her enter the battlefield trigger to great effect. We're going to go card type by card type so you can see just how much value can be gained from this. Let's begin with artifacts. Reckoner Bankbuster is here as a full playset, and no one should be surprised. An absolute all-star, the Bankbuster is the epitome of value. Good early, good late, and it fills the artifact requirement of Atraxa's enter the battlefield trigger, along with being a solid mana sink, refueler, and somehow ramper as well. This is such a broken card. We're also running a single copy of the Eternal Wanderer as the lone planeswalker in the deck. Now, the Wandering Emperor is basically all over the place in Standard at the moment, but it doesn't really need to be here when you see the entire picture brought together. The Eternal Wanderer, on the other hand, incredibly difficult to remove efficiently, creates a double striking 2/2, also hard to deal with, but the other two abilities, that's where she shines. The +1 can flicker Atraxa or the Bankbuster if you really want to. Imagine getting another Atraxa trigger, that's insane. And the -4 is a board wipe, mostly. It's incredibly effective against the barrage of mono-white mid-range decks, soldier decks, and even mono black decks running around. Having a top end versatile walker like this game 1 is a solid choice for what the deck's trying to accomplish. Next up are the Sorceries. As you've probably already gathered, this isn't the fastest deck in the world, so creatures need to die. Strangle is as low to the ground as we can get as removal. Effectively a sorcery speed lightning bolt, the deck runs 3 and they are necessary. Early drops are a problem and these help stem the bleeding. We're also running a Depopulate and a Farewell for another pair of serious removal options, and then the sweetest removal of all, Burn Down the House. I love this card. 5 mana for 5 damage across all creatures and planeswalkers. The best part, Atraxa herself survives this while everything else is gonna burn to the ground around you. Probably one of the more genius inclusions in the strategy for sure. The last sorcery in the deck is Blue Sun's Twilight, 3 of them. Practically speaking, you're going to be stealing Goblin Shamans, created by Fable of the Mirror Breaker, more often than you steal anything else, and that is 100% worth it. Doesn't matter that you're using an entire card to deal with a third of another card, that's how strong those stupid Goblin Shamans are that create treasure tokens. You want them. So when your opponent drops that Fable down for only 2 mana, you get the treasure token producer, not to mention all the other small creatures in the format that you might want to steal to stop some bleeding or disrupt your opponent's game plan. Think of this as a removal spell, but instead of killing everything, you get Rafine or Blood Tithe Harvester or Harbin or Armored Scrapgorger or Monastery Swiftspear. I think you get the picture. It's a solid new card for slower strategies. The current instance package is 2 Go for the Throat and a single Unleash the Inferno. However, it's possible Unleash should be granted additional copies. Go for the Throat is a simple include. It hits almost everything in the format that we care about and is super duper cheap. Unleash the Inferno is a way to demolish Fable of the Mirror Breaker or the Bankbuster since the vehicle's mana value is only 2. Very easy to annihilate a creature and then use the second part of Unleash's ability to Inferno the crap out of that broken artifact. If you decide to play this deck, I would urge testing with more than 1 copy of Unleash. It performed really well for me, almost always having 2 cards to destroy. Most decks are running artifacts or enchantments right now, so take advantage. Next up, Enchantments. This is where we get a little wild. Now, of course, we have to include a full playset of Fable of the Mirror Breaker because it's one of the best cards in Standard right now. Some argue it is the best, and that's totally valid, but I digress. It has to be here. Drops at a great place in our curve since nothing in the deck shares a static mana value with it. The Goblin Shaman it creates will help us both ramp and fix, 2 things we desperately need in a 5-color deck, and the card filtering doesn't hurt too much either. Is it bad if I say I don't really care at all about the 3rd chapter? That's not why we're playing this. If you get the value from the 1st and 2nd chapters, consider yourself lucky. The game is probably going well for you. To take advantage of the 5-color nature of the deck, another piece of dynamic removal is Leyline Binding. Such a smart include here. Starts at 6 mana, sure, but with this deck, it doesn't stay there for long, oftentimes being cast at instant speed for 2 or 3 mana, and it rarely takes time to get the cost that low. As you'll see with the lands in a moment, there's no shortage of basic land type coverage, a good piece of cheap removal to join Strangle real low to the ground. Now, I need you to brace yourselves for this last enchantment because it might drop your jaw. The deck runs the Kami War, yeah, the 5-color saga from Kamigawa. Thanks to the rainbow nature of the deck, we can actually run this card reliably. It drops on chapter 1 and immediately exiles something we don't like. Most of the time, it's an opposing planeswalker or a giant creature like Sanctuary Warden. Sometimes exiling is great. The 2nd chapter puts the opponent even further behind, giving you more room to work with, and if the game isn't over after that, Kagachi hits the battlefield. Imagine playing Atraxa, using her trigger, and grabbing the Kami War. 4. How does your opponent even react to that? That's just funny. Don't get me wrong, it's devastatingly powerful, but it's also hilarious. So to review, Atraxa Grand Unifier wants us to hit a bunch of different card types, and the deck has many covered. Sorceries in the form of removal and disruption, instants for removal, enchantments for value and removal, artifacts because the Bankbuster is too broken not to play, and sometimes even a cheeky planeswalker with the Eternal Wander. That just leaves lands, the powerhouse of the deck. Making a 5-color deck work is difficult, but thankfully we exist in a standard with more options than we deserve. 4 Jetmir's Garden, 4 Rafine's Tower, 4 Xander's Lounge, and 2 Ziatora's Proving Ground are enough tri-lands to get all colors and all basic land types with relative ease. For additional color coverage, we've also got Deathcap Glade, Deserted Beach, Rockfall Vale, Storm-Carved Coast, Sulphurous Springs, and Sundown Pass in various amounts. Beseiju is in the deck to destroy Fable, Bankbuster, or anything else we hate. Iganjo is sweet, sweet removal. Sekenzin creates some sneaky 1/1s for us, and then we have Murex. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. 5-color decks without fetch lands, always scary to play. Murex is designed as a way for us to get the colors we need at exactly the right moment. Murex is the land you play when you're ready to cast something. It gives us some much needed color insurance, especially early in the game if we draw awkward duels and don't have the red for Fable or Strangle or double blue for Zenith. Great way to smooth out and make our mana base a little more color consistent. It's interesting tech. Before you click off this video, please listen here. The reason this deck can exist the way it does and actually win tons of games is because the format is outrageously slow at the moment. Mid-range decks are the norm. There are only a few aggro decks, and even they are slower than previous iterations. Until the format speeds up significantly, a strategy like this can not only exist but thrive. Going over the top of 70% of the meta will lead to you winning a ton of games. Atraxa is the ultimate grindy silver bullet, effectively punishing the format for being as slow as it is right now. Create whatever package of card types you want that reflect well against your local meta or whatever you see online, but regardless, keep playing Atraxa Grand Unifier in this strategy. She's the entire reason it works. Hope you enjoy your slow as heck meta where Atraxa gains more value than her mechanic predecessor Niv Mizzet ever did. Now let's talk sideboard. Most of what you do in your sideboard is to combat aggressive or specific mid-range strategies. Against mono red, mono black, or mono white aggro, or even Azorius Soldiers, Vampire's Vengeance, and Abrade are excellent inclusions. Drops your removal package and mana value, making it easier to interact with the board early. Disdainful Stroke is solid against Invoke Justice strategies, Big Angel decks, and specifically Mardu, mono white, and Esper midrange. But more important than any of these cards, Nimble Larcenist. This card has gotten even better as a sideboard option thanks to Phyrexia's release. Almost every deck in the format is running important instants, Sorceries, or the Bankbuster, and no one is doing anything quickly. So 3 mana in 3 different colors isn't that big of a deal. You'll find you want to sideboard this in against most decks that aren't mono white, mono red, or mono black aggro. Easy to make room by removing the cheap removal designed for aggro decks. There are a lot of moving parts in this deck, and it will take some practice for you to get used to the pacing and the mana base, but I promise if you give it a little time, you'll come out the other end having a ton of fun with the current standard meta. It's absurdly fun to cast the Kami War off the back of Atraxa Grand Unifier. I can't properly explain it. Now, if seeing gameplay along with these deck techs is something that you're interested in, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll work on that for you. Remember to stay tuned right here for more Phyrexia All Will Be One coverage, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.